Good morning, students. Today you are going to learn about the histology of tongue. Let's get started. Tongue is a mucomuscular organ. It has a core of skeletal muscle which are covered with mucous membrane. Then tongue has two surfaces, dorsal and ventral surface. Ventral surface appears to be smooth and it is covered by mucous membrane. Whereas the dorsal surface of the tongue, this one is the dorsal surface, it appears to be rough in nature because of presence of numerous mucosal projections which are called as papillae, which are also called as lingual papillae. Based on the structure and the function, the papillas are of four types. They are circumvallate papilla. This one is the circumvallate papilla. Then filiform papilla. This is the filiform papilla. This only gives a velvety appearance to the tongue, which is present on the dorsum of the tongue, just in front of the sulcus terminalis. Then these are all the conical projections which are called as fungiform papilla. They are scatteredly arranged on the dorsum. Then coming to vertical papilla, which are called as foliate papilla, they are present on the margins of the tongue, just in front of the ends of the sulcus terminalis. Ends of the sulcus terminalis. In this slide where you can see a section of tongue and you could be able to identify the papillas. This one is the circumvallate papilla and this is filiform papilla and this one is the fungiform papilla. And here are the all four papillas. This is the filiform papilla, inverted V-shaped papilla, fungiform papilla which is a mushroom-shaped papilla, and circumvallate papilla is a dome-shaped papilla which is covered by a circular sulcus. And this one is the foliate papilla. Coming to taste buds. Taste buds are located on the epithelium of the papillas. Except the filiform papilla, the remaining circumvallate papilla, fungiform papilla and foliate papilla, all the three papillas has a presence of taste buds, but the filiform papilla has devoid of taste bud. So this is the structure of taste bud. This is the longitudinal section of the tongue where you can see a mucosa made up of lining epithelium and lamina propria. So in this lining epithelium, you can find out the fungiform papilla, then filiform papilla. Underneath this, you can see a lamina propria. So deep to mucosa, you can see a core of skeletal muscle. Around the skeletal muscle bundles, you can see a connective tissue. In the connective tissue, you can see a blood vessels. So underneath the core of skeletal muscles, you can see a serous and mucus glands. Coming to circumvallate papilla, they are 8 to 12 in number and are dome-shaped structure, dome-shaped papilla which are surrounded by a circular sulcus. This papilla is lined by a lingual epithelium, that is stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. Underlying this epithelium, there is a presence of connective tissue called as lamina propria. It exhibits a numerous secondary papilla which projects into the overlying epithelium of the papilla. And these papilla which are submerged into the surface of the tongue so that they are surrounded by a epithelially lined groove. Then a deep trench of furrow which surrounds the base of each circumvallate papilla. So this is the furrow, a deep trench of furrow. Then presence of oval taste buds on the lateral surface of the epithelium and the epithelium on the outer wall of the deep trench. These are all the oval taste buds. Deep to lamina propria, there is the presence of core of tongue. The core of the tongue consists of interlacing bundles of skeletal muscles. They are arranged longitudinally, transversely, and vertically. And this interlacing arrangement gives mobility of the tongue for phonation, chewing, and swallowing. Then, deep to lamina propria and the core of the tongue, there are the presence of numerous tubulo-acinar serous glands, which are called as Van Ebener's gland. So these are all the serous glands, and its secretory ducts, which are opens into the base of the furrow of circumvallate papilla. So these are all the serous glands, that is Van Ebener's glands. Their excretory ducts, which are opens into the base of the furrow of circumvallate papilla. That is the deep trench. So this secretory products from the serous glands, which acts as a solvent for the taste-inducing substances. Then the lamina propria around the skeletal muscle and as well as the lamina propria around the glands, which contains abundance of blood vessels in it. Coming to filiform papilla are the most numerous papilla which covers the entire dorsal surface of the tongue, and it is a slender conical structure. This only imparts a velvety appearance to the dorsal surface, and its tip shows a keratinization. So the lining epithelium for the tip alone is a stratified squamous keratinized epithelium, and this filiform papilla which helps to scrape the food off from the surface of the tongue, and this filiform papilla has devoid of taste buds. Next is the fungiform papilla. Fungiform papilla is less numerous and it is present near the tip of the tongue. It resembles a mushroom-shaped structure, and it is lined by stratified squamous non-keratinized epithelium. And there is a presence of prominent core of lamina propria in it. This is the lamina propria. And this lamina propria which projects into the surface of the epithelium to form a numerous indentations. And presence of numerous taste buds in the epithelium, mostly on the apical surface of the papilla. So this is the taste bud. In this slide, you can see both the fungiform papilla and the filiform papilla. So see the tip of the filiform papilla, it is keratinized. And look at the fungiform papilla, there are the presence of taste buds on the apical surface of epithelium of the papilla. And next in this slide, you can see arrangement of skeletal muscles in it. So the muscles are arranged in the form of longitudinal fibers, oblique fibers, and the transverse fibers. Coming to taste buds are intraepithelial sensory organs. Their function is perception of the taste. There are 2000 to 8000 taste buds which are present on the surface of the tongue and as well as posterior aspect of the oral cavity. Each taste bud composed of 60 to 80 spindle-shaped cells. These are all the cells. And each taste bud is oval in shape and is having a length of 70 to 80 micrometer, and it is having a width of 30 to 50 micrometer, and each taste bud exhibit a small opening onto the epithelial surface which are called as taste pore or gustatory pore. Coming to cells of taste buds. So taste bud has three kinds of cells. One is receptor cell, supporting cell, and basal cell. So first let's see the receptor cell, which is also called as sensory cell or gustatory cell or neuroepithelial cell. So this cell is an elongated cell which exhibits a lighter cytoplasm and more oval, lighter nucleus. It extends from the basal lamina of the epithelium to the taste pore. Then the apical surface of the cell, it shows a few microvilli. Coming to supporting cell. So this is the supporting cell, which is also called as sustentacular cells. So these cells are elongated cells which extends from basal lamina to the taste pore. It exhibits a darker cytoplasm and slender dark nucleus. The apical surface of the cell also exhibit a long microvilli. These microvilli are also called as taste hairs, which extends into and protrude through the taste pore. Then, these sustentacular cells are the supporting cells which support the receptor cells, and it also secretes the amorphous dense material at the taste pore. Coming to basal cell. So basal cells are also called as stem cells. They multiply and gives rise to a sustentacular cells and as well as the receptor cells. They are small dark cells located at the periphery of the taste bud near the basement membrane of the epithelium. Here in this slide, you can see a histological picture of taste bud, and these taste buds are arranged perpendicular to the epithelium and distinctly paler than the epithelium. And here you can see a taste pore which is opens on the surface of the epithelium, which is also called as gustatory pore. And you can see three kinds of cells. Cells are, one is a tentacular cell, this is a sustentacular cell, and you have here is a gustatory cell or receptor cell, and you have near to the basement membrane there is a basal cell. So with this, the histology of tongue over.